Hello and welcome to this new video tutorial, part of a new series of videos. Today I will show you how to paint a beautiful atmospheric portrait inspired by Pre-Raphaelite art and fantasy illustration. I'll go step by step through my layering technique, not a historically accurate method, just the way I like to do it. If you want to try this for yourself, you'll need a reference photo with a clear distinction between shadow and light on the face. A good way to achieve this is to take a selfie by a window, where one side of your face is lit by natural light, while the other remains in shadow. You'll also need a canvas or gesso board, prepared by mixing burnt umber and white into a mid-tone. Make sure it's not too dark. It should be lighter than the shadow areas for this technique. This way you already have one tone on your canvas to start with. I'm starting this portrait with a brown underpainting, which I find to be a very easy technique for beginners. This panel is already painted in a mid-tone and I transferred my drawing with this technique in mind, dividing the shadow and light side of the face using a colored pencil. For this stage, I'm only using burnt umber, slightly diluted with linseed oil. Here you can see me defining the shadow side of the face. This is a very important step in any painting, as it gives the portrait the three-dimensionality we want it to have. Imagine your reference photo reduced to only two values, light and shadow. A helpful trick is to squint while looking at your reference. This makes it much easier to define the edge between light and shadow. At this step, don't worry about sharp edges. Just focus on blocking in the shadows as accurately as possible. After painting the shadows across the portrait, I move on to refining the edges. I use a soft, clean brush to smudge the areas I know should be soft transitions. And I darken the midtones around the edge of the shadow while still keeping that contrast. Here I dab the brush and use a dry brush technique to gently blend around the darker tones without losing the structure of the face. The last step is to soften any sharp edges and correct the overall values. Take a moment to check if the shadowy areas look balanced and accurate. At this point, the underpainting is finished and it needs to dry for 1 or 2 days before I can continue painting over it. In the next video I'll show you how I paint the lighter areas of the face as well as the attire and the background. Stay tuned if you want to follow along. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that it inspires you to try this easy layering technique yourself. If you do so, I would love to see your results. If you have any questions about this technique or the underpainting stage, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share if you found this helpful. Thank you for watching.